Hey, what's up, guys? So today I want to implement the Towers of Hanoi, but I want to do it visually so we can actually see what it looks like when we actually implement the algorithm and as it performs the steps. Some of you may have done the Towers of Hanoi, but then all you see are the steps, but you don't actually see the towers themselves. So, so let's get started. If you don't know what the Towers of Hanoi are, basically, if you think about it, there's like, in this case, I don't have a pole here. There should really be a pole going up where the disc look like this. If you look at this disc, we're looking at it from the side, looks like this. All of them look uh, like that, like the purple one and the blue one and so on. And they have these colors, and then they have a hole in the center like a donut. And then of course, they sit on the pole. I just put a platform, but there should really be a pole going up where they kind of go in the pole. So the idea is to move all the discs from one location to another. Like in this case, for example, if we target our disc to go from, we want to move all the discs from let's say that this is A, B, and C, and we want to move them all to C. We have to take a matter of steps. Now, I'm not performing the algorithm by any means here, but the idea is that you cannot put one larger disk on top of a smaller disk. So for example, let's say that we move this one here first, and then we move this one here, and then we can take and move this one here, and we take and move this one here. Okay, so now what's our next move? Our next move might be that we take and move this one back over here. Okay, and that's not necessarily a correct algorithm. But if I move it here, I move this back over here, and I can move this back over here, and I can move on to the next disk out. And so then the idea would be that I then can take this disk and move it over here, and move this disk over here, and then move this over here, right? But now I'm kind of stuck. So I did something wrong here because this is not going to work. This is not going to work because I need to actually move this somewhere else. But it doesn't matter. We have the algorithm. The algorithm's going to be right. It's going to tell us all the moves that we got to complete, and you'll see them when we actually run it. So anyway, if you like this video, please subscribe because it really helps me. And I did say a while back that I was going to do a giveaway when I reached 1,000 subscribers. So as I get closer to the 1,000 subscribers, that's when I'm going to announce it, what it's going to be. And please subscribe because once it gets to that 1,000 subscribers, I am going to have a giveaway, but it has to reach the 1,000 subscribers. So if you like this video, please subscribe. Please hit the alert so that you get all the videos. And if you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, give it 2 thumbs down. Thanks for watching. So the first thing we got to do is we got to take that algorithm and implement it. And let's go find an algorithm for the Towers of Hanoi, right? And I'm not going to try to do it off the top of my head. So let's go out to the web and find one. Let's go find Towers of Hanoi. And one thing that I didn't do is that I want to find a timer. First thing I want to do is find a timer because I want to see how long it takes us. Actually, we want stopwatch. I want to start. And we want to see how far we go, how much time. I'm hoping to do this all within 30 minutes to an hour. I'm not sure exactly how long it's going to take me, but we'll shoot for that. So let's find the Towers of Hanoi recursive algorithm. Geeks for Geeks has a good one. So, they talk about the example. They talk about all that. Let's make this a little bit bigger so we can see it. So here's what they actually look like. And what we want to do is take this Towers of Hanoi that's like this, and we'll take it, we're going to convert it over. And we're going to have the Towers of Hanoi here. And of course, this is JavaScript, so it's not gonna like it. First off, this is gonna be, let's tab this in, and so we're gonna say if this equals 0, and then we're gonna say Towers of Hanoi. Now notice that I have some different names. I have 2 posts, so I'm gonna call them the same thing. 2 rod, ox rod, and then we're gonna call it from rod. We're gonna call it from rod. Okay. So then we call it, and of course we have this. So let's change this to this, and we call it like that. And of course I added one thing to actually record the moves, because I don't want to output the moves. I want to actually record the moves. And we have the moves here. And instead of doing a C out like that C++, right? And instead of doing that, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take and we're going to record the moves. And the way we're gonna record the moves, we're gonna record the moves like this. So that we don't have to parse or anything. We are going to record the moves. We're gonna say moves.push, and we're gonna push a move from, and we're going to put the from, and we're going to put the to, and we're going to put the to, and it's going to be from rod, right? And we're going to say to rod. And we can turn this into a console. No, let's just turn it into a console log. Console log, I mean. And let's use string interpolation instead. So this is going to be $, and, or actually this, and this is going to be from rod, and this is going to be $, from rod. To rod. And this is going to be $, to rod. And then we don't need the handle. We just need this. That should do it. This from rod to rod. Oh, we need the closing parentheses. And then we make our move. Pretty simple algorithm, okay? But the reason that we're actually saving the moves is because we're going to take afterwards and visually show how to solve the Towers of Hanoi. So let's see, we got this. And then I need to export one more function. What I'm going to export is I'm going to export a function and call it Towers of Hanoi. I'm going to call it solve Towers of Hanoi. And I'm going to say this and moves. And part of the reason for that is because if we go back to our algorithm over here, this algorithm already has A, C, and B. So we just call Towers of Hanoi with the this, and then A, actually it's A, C, and B. A, C, and B, and we pass it also the moves. Okay, so this should solve our algorithm. And we could potentially test it, but let's do something where we actually have something visual. And the first thing I want to do is create a UI. So let's go to the index and let's create, let's see what we have here. Let me pull the terminal for a second. We have some links. We're gonna create one of these links like this. What is that? Canary examples. We're gonna create a link here. Overwrite that link, and what we're gonna call, we're gonna create a new, and we're gonna call it Towers of Hanoi, just like that. And here we're gonna call it Towers of Hanoi. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right, but so there's a visual representation of Towers of Hanoi, and it's gonna, and we need to create a new page. So let's create a new component under pages. This is a Next.js project, by the way. So if you see me creating pages, that's all it is. And so we're going to create a page, and we're just going to call it Towers of Hanoi. And I don't like to start from scratch, even if I have to delete things. So I'm going to take this, man, that's too complicated. It's really not all that tough. So let's go ahead and just copy the top part of this. We probably just need this. We need a couple of things. We need this and this. So we're going to go to the Towers of Hanoi, bring this in, and actually what we're going to create, copy use state maybe. We don't need this. What we need to copy, we need to import Towers. Well, actually, what we're exporting in Towers of Hanoi is solve Towers of Hanoi like this. Actually, this should be this, not moves. Oh, no. Correction. This is moves, right? This is moves. This is moves. Okay, so we're going to copy that. This. Let's copy this over here to Towers of Hanoi. We're going to bring this in from here and say from services, Towers of Hanoi algorithm. Okay. And then we have a functional. And how do we create our functionals? Okay, so just const like this. And but except it's going to be called Towers of Hanoi. And here's our functional component. And we have to export it. Do we have to say default? I think we do have to say default, don't we? Yeah, it is default because it's got the same name. Default Towers of Hanoi. And so here we are. And the first thing we want to do, we want to have something showing. How do we do something like this? A bunch of divs. We want to just show something in the Sudoku solver. Well, first thing we want to do is we want to create, we do want to create a container, and that takes us back. So we want to create that. And that's our return, right? So yeah, that's our return. Oh, I didn't create it as a return, but it needs to be a return. All right, and close the div out. And this should give us at least a back button. So container, Towers of Hanoi. Let's see what we have so far. Let's save all of this. Let's save all of this, and let's go ahead and go to the terminal. And let's do a npm. I forget what it is. Is it next dev or something? npm, let me see what it is. npm dev. Okay, npm run dev. See if it compiles. Oh. Did it run? Okay. So now let's go back to our browser, and let's go to localhost. Okay, so here it is, Towers of Hanoi. We got a runtime error. We didn't import the link, so we need to import the link. So let's go to the Sudoku solver and see how we imported the link. Let's bring it in. Okay. Save it, it should automatically pick it up. There it is. We got at least a back button, Towers of Hanoi, and a back button. Okay, so now the tricky part is gonna be, how do we depict the Towers of Hanoi? Let's say that we do it with 4. And how can we draw to the screen some divs where they stack? Maybe with buttons with sizes, maybe buttons of different sizes. You know what would be perfect? If we had a grid with 3. No, would that work? I don't think that would work. What would be a good way to depict? I don't want to draw it on canvas, because then that would do it. Before we actually draw it visually, let's go ahead and see if we can get it working, just so that it works without it being visual. So I think before we do that visually, we need to have some kind of state that has 3 arrays, essentially tower 1, tower 2, and tower 3. So we can have use state, we can have towers, and we can have set towers. And initially, let's just say that we have the towers where we have an array, an object actually, with tower, we'll just call it, matter of fact, how about if we call it A, and we have in A, we have values, we have an array of values, right? Where we have, for example, in order, we're gonna have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, like that. And then we have B, and we have values, and B is empty, and C is empty, like that. Okay. And then we're gonna need a button that basically says solve. So let's take a look and cheat. And let's take a look how we did some of these buttons. Not there. We have a button here. Let's copy this whole thing. Will it work? Yeah, let's put the whole thing. Let's put the whole thing here and just say, let's put a big button, and we'll just say, for now, just solve puzzle, solve the towers. And then here, since we're bringing, we'll say solve towers, and we'll pass it. This is actually going to be a callback. What I'm thinking is that since I'm going to be passing in the towers, I'm not going to be passing that. I'm going to be passing something called moves. So I'm not sure if I need to declare it here. I don't know if I need to have that, but let's just go with it. So I have move, set moves, and I'm going to pass in, for now, I'm going to say that I'm going to do it with 3. I don't want to go all the way with 4 yet. And I'm just going to pass it an array with moves into it. And it's going to solve Towers of Hanoi. But the problem with this, it's got to give us back the moves. So this is going to change the state. So I don't want to do that. So I want to create a function, a callback. So we're going to have a callback, and we're going to say const handle solve handle solution. And what we're not going to pass anything here. We're just going to create this and handle solution. And here's where we're going to call the solve. We're actually going to do this here. But here, we're going to call handle solution like this. And when we solve it, as a matter of fact, we don't even have to do that. We just say handle solution. It's a callback. Handle solution. And what we're going to create is we're going to let moves equal like this and just pass in the moves. And what we're going to do is we're going to take all the moves and temporary moves. We'll call this temporary moves. Okay, so that once it's solved the problem, we have all the moves stored in the temporary moves, and we're going to set the moves. We're going to say set moves. And we're going to pass it the temporary moves. And actually what we pass it is, we'll clone it. We'll do the temporary moves, set moves. Now it has the moves, the actual moves. And down here, I'm just going to create something that displays the moves. As a matter of fact, we'll put it in a paragraph here for now. And I'll just do, let's see, maybe before we get into here, I can take the moves. So I'm click handle solution. For this, I think the best thing to do, if you want to really display all the moves, yeah, we can do a series. We can do a UL. Let's just do a UL, and then we can do a moves.map, and we'll say move, and then we'll return a the list item, and that has the move dot from, and then the arrow move dot to. Because I think that, let's take a look real quick. In our Towers of Hanoi, we are actually taking and pushing from, which is a character, from rod to rod. Okay, so it's from and to. So if we go to this individual, we could actually create this as a single string and say from, we'll just list the moves. We'll just say from $, from $, move to $, and that. And so when we click solve, it's going to solve for the moves. Now, one of the things about it is, okay, so we got temporary moves, okay, and then we set the moves, and it's going to display a list item of all the moves. So let's go ahead and save this, and we are running as far as I know. Okay, so let's it should have refreshed, but just in case, let's refresh it. Go to the towers. There we go. Okay, we still got some things that we need to change. We solve it. Tower of Hanoi. Oh yeah, we got a typo there. So what line is that? Line 8 is the algorithm. So here we got tower when it should be towers. Towers of Hanoi in the moves. Solve towers of Hanoi. So evidently it called it, otherwise it would not done that. Let's solve it again. There we go. Oh, but it disappeared. Why did it disappear on us? Okay, so we know it's making the moves, and it does show the moves. So now we look at our example here. Well, that's a big one. So we look at the 2. Let's look at the 3. A to C, A to B. Oh, we got to look at here. A to C, A to B, and then C to B and A to C. C to B and A to C, and then B to A and B to C. So it shows us visually, but this is not enough. This is not what I want. What I want to do is I want to put a button that when you click next, it will display the pieces, right? And so how can we display buttons of different sizes? So we got to play around with that idea. But before we do that, let me take a look. We're on timer 24 minutes. Okay, I would have thought that we would have been further along than this. So since we have the moves, we have all the moves, we can actually take and create a button. We can create a grid of buttons. And I'm going to do what I would normally do, which is create stack of buttons, different sizes. And I don't think it matters right now. Let me see. It doesn't matter. We do it in, because if we create a grid, what if we did create a grid and then we created the buttons different sizes? Let's say with Bootstrap. And we can style them differently. Let's just create a grid with Bootstrap. Let's say, how do we create a grid with Bootstrap? Let's look at the grid system. let's create, this is exactly what we need. We need 3 columns, right? And in those columns, we're gonna need 3 rows. So we're gonna need the row see, I don't know if we even need it in this one. We're gonna do it outside of the Jumbotron. Okay, let's see what this looks like. Let's take a look. Okay, 1 of 3 columns. Okay, so now we're gonna create a row. What if we create rows? We want it to be dynamic though. That's part of the problem. What if we created, based on, since we're solving for 3, we know what's in each, well, we haven't even set the towers up, right? So we haven't set the towers up. We know we got towers. We know we have stuff in the towers, but we want to set up buttons based on the towers. And I think since we have rows here, we would do we need to have an array. We need to do we need to still do, somehow we need to do a map of 4 of whatever we have in the row for the number of buttons that are in the row. But if there's less than, then we need to figure out if we still need to do 4 rows of nothing, basically. No, we don't. No, we don't. No, we don't. No, we don't. So we're gonna say, based on the rows, on the towers, we're gonna say towers dot, actually, we're gonna say towers dot map and actually this is towers 0 dot map x. I don't know why I can't do the equal sign right off the bat. I'm doing the plus. Oh, it's still doing the plus. Looks like my shift is not working. Oh, it's not working. Oh, my shift button's not working. It's not working. Well, this is the problem. That worked. Okay, I don't know why that worked, but that's actually caps lock. And it worked. Anyway, so what I'm going to return here is I'm going to return a row. A row with, not row, but a div, class equal row, with a column, a div, class equal column, we'll say small. Like that, okay? And what we'll do in this case, we'll put the value of the, since the towers have that, we'll just put the value of X in it. And we'll do the same thing for this one. This looks a little weird. Okay. That's real weird. Okay. Okay. Maybe I need to split it up. Like that. Okay. And then I'll take this one and do the same thing, but except this one is going to be towers 1. And this is going to be the same thing, but towers 2. And now the funny thing about this is that if you look at our towers, it's going to be, does it go down? That'll be interesting. We'll see. It looks like I already have an error. Towers, that map. Towers. That's because towers is an actual object, and it's actually an object, and it's going to be not tower 0, but towers.a.map, towers.b.map, and towers.c, like that. Should go away. Okay, solve. Ooh, it didn't show me anything. That's kind of interesting. Why didn't it show me anything for the towers, even though we have values in them? Towers, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, you know why? Because I have to actually return a value. Since I'm mapping, and that's inside of a function. And if it was a one-liner, I wouldn't need to do this, but since it's not a one-liner, it's I'm using curly braces, then it's gonna do that. And now we see the towers. Okay, but they're not visually. Now we solve it. We didn't update we didn't update where they moved to, right? We just set the moves. But what I want is to have a button, right? A button that moves them. So I'm going to have a button here somewhere. I want to have a button that moves these towers based on the moves. But I got to keep track of the moves because I got to either pop them off or I got to keep track of the moves. So since the moves are in sequence, I have to navigate through the moves. And the best way probably to do it would be to pop off the moves. And so since we have them in an array, we can pop them off. So let's go ahead and create a button let's create a button. Let's put a button just below that. Let's see if it doesn't. It might not like it. Just it'll be easier. We can always move stuff around later. So this button here is going to be next, right? And on click is going to handle next move. Actually, it's just a callback. Handle next move. And let's copy this. And we're going to say handle next move. Handle next move. But what we have to do is we have to take the moves, right? We're going to say we don't do this. We're gonna take and we're gonna execute a move, right? And we're gonna say we're gonna pop off a move basically. So we have to say next move equals, and they're in order, right? It's like the first move, second move, and everything. So what we have to do is we have to take the next move. So we're going to take the next move is going to be from moves. And in order to remove something from moves, so let's see, the array has shift and unshift. I forget which is which. Array, shift, JavaScript. So let's see which one is that we need. Removes the first element in the array. Well, that's what we want. Returns the removed element. This changes the length of the array. And so it removes the element of the array. So we're going, well, the first thing we want to do is make a copy of it. So let temp moves equal and then we're going to say let next move equal temp moves shift. And that's going to be the next move. And then with that next move, we are going to base it on the towers. And we're going to say, we're going to do the same thing with towers. We're going to say let temp towers equal towers. And we're going to say, since our next move, we're going to say temp moves dot, or not dot, but it's going to be next move dot from, right? We're going to say temp moves dot from let's see, temp moves dot from, and actually temp towers, not temp moves, from, and we are going to pop. Do we pop? What's at the top, right? We're gonna pop from the top. So we're gonna pop something off of it, right? We're gonna pop that value that is on the tower, right? Disk equal pop, right, from the temp towers. And then we are going to take, and we're going to say temp towers dot push temp towers, actually temp towers next move dot to, right? And we're going to say push, so we're going to push to the top, the disk. And then we are going to update our moves, and we're going to update our towers. So we are going to say set towers, temp towers, and actually set towers, temp towers. We did pop from the temp towers, okay. And set moves, temp moves. And I'm missing a dot here, okay. So let's see what that looks like. Let's take a look. Okay, let's see, okay. So let's solve it first of all. Okay, so we know what solving looks like. And when we go next, temp towers equal towers. Towers is not an array, towers is an object. So, yeah. Okay. Temp towers equal towers, okay. And this is wrong. Let's give it another try. Solve it, and next. See, it pushed it over here, the 4, which is, in essence, it's wrong. Okay, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. You should not push that. So okay, let's refresh this because this is all screwed up now. Okay, solve it. So we're gonna say next. Notice it should pop something off of here. The A to C should get popped off. So it did get popped off. Okay, A to C got popped off, but this is still wrong. Okay, and then we go next again, and it goes to 3, and next again, and puts in the 4, and it puts in the 2, and then it puts in the 1, and it keeps going. Oh, and somewhere here, it didn't like that pop. Let's solve it again. Let's refresh it. Solve it. There's still moves. As long as there's moves, it should not error out. But see, it didn't do that last move. So this doesn't look right because if there's no moves left, how can that be? If we solve it, we see that the last move was from A to C. So that move should have taken place. You know what though? If we are moving the towers, the temp towers should move from one place and push to, it should move from one and move to the other. But one of the things about it is this seems to be right, but doesn't seem to be right Let's take a look. There's a few things wrong with this. Let's refresh this. Let's solve it. So let's see. Pop off a move. Well, first of all, it popped off the 4, which means that it has the 4 on the top, right? So it should have popped off the 1. It displays them correctly, so there's a couple of things wrong. The order in which they're set should actually be 4, 3, 2, 1. That is because depending on how you're looking at it, if you're looking at it as a stack, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. And but the thing about this is that when the map maps it out, it needs to be in reverse. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a function. So let's create a function and get, we'll call it get this stack. And we're going to pass it the this. I don't know why I spell it with K and C. I don't even know the right spelling. But what we're going to need to do is we're going to have to create it, reverse it. We're going to have to reverse it. Which we can say let new dis equal, and we'll say while dis, and we got to be careful about this. While new dis, while new dis, no, while dis dot length greater than 0, we're going to begin popping them off. New dis dot push, right? We're putting them on a stack. Is that right? We're going to push them off the stack. We're going to say new dis, and we're going to say dis dot pop. And we're going to pop whatever's on that. And then we're going to return this little gem. Return moves map, but it's actually, it's not moves. I don't know why I called it move. It should be this. Should be this here, but okay, let's see, disk. And actually, this is a move. This is not this. I'm mixing things up. This is not the right thing. This is what I'm after. This is the piece that I'm after, actually. not that other one. This is, and it's not going to be towers. We got the this map X. Like that. Return this map. I wouldn't be surprised if it wants a key since we're mapping everything. We'll just call it we can say what column it is. And we'll name it accordingly. And we'll say column, disk, index, actually index, like that. And we'll put this in parentheses, say index. And so now, no, it doesn't like that. So we pushed them, and this should be new disk, like that. And so now when we call this, instead of calling all of this, we can just say, get this stack is going to be column A, and it's going to be towers dot A. And so we do the same thing for this. Get this tag, and it's going to be B, towers B, and then same thing, and it's going to be C. See if we get it right, because I'm still not fully 100% comfortable with the idea of pushing and popping and having it be in the right order. So let's see. Let's see if this even pans out. Solve. Oof. You didn't solve it. Okay, so it solved it. So now let's go next. Oh, it's not even displaying it now. Ah, crap. So now get this tag didn't. This task towers, it does have a this. I think I know why. It's because actually what I have to do is do this. I don't want to actually pass it because now I'm modifying the state of the tower, and I don't want to modify the state of the tower. I want to pass a clone copy because it pushes everything out, and now I'm going to have a problem. Okay, let's try that. It's still not showing up. What happened to my towers? My get this tag is not getting the this tag. And let's see what, let's solve it. Let's look at the tools. Solve it. Let's clear it. Solve it. Next. Something I'm not doing. when I click handle next move, it is popping off. It is setting the towers, it's setting the moves, but this somehow this get this tag, this stack. When I set the new moves, or this length greater than 0, and like it doesn't pop back. And then I do new disk X index. It's like it doesn't return anything. I'm seriously stuck here. When I moved it out here, let's put a console log. Okay. Let's solve it. Ooh, it's got a lot of undefineds. Undefined, undefined, undefined. Oh, that's interesting. It's popping off the disk. Why would it push empty disk if there's nothing to pop? Let me console another thing. A has 2, 3, 4. They're not undefined anymore. They actually have something in them. They were undefined earlier. What the heck? Oh, wait a minute. That seems to have done it. Okay, let's try it again. Solve it. That's 1, 2, 3 goes back, 3 goes over. 1 goes back on top of 4. 2's got to go to 3. B to C. Now A has to go to C, which it did. So the algorithm is not quite right because I still have unsolved for 4. Let's refresh it. Okay. Let's solve it. Let's see if it does the move. A to C, it does that. C to B, what the heck? No, A to B. A is gonna go to B, which it does that. C is not gonna go to B, which just does that. A is gonna go to C, which just does that. B is gonna go to A, which just does that. Now B is gonna go to C, which it does that. And A is gonna go to C. Oh, I know what's going on. That was a silly mistake on my part. When I did this, I solved it for 3, but I put 4 in here, and that's the problem. So we actually do it like what it's supposed to be doing off of that. If we now solve it, it's gonna go, ooh, wait a minute, let's solve it. Let's refresh it. Solve it. Now we click next. Click next. And now it's solved. And that's the way it's supposed to be. But if we look at our timer, we went way over. And so maybe on the next part, I'll get to it. I can't necessarily have the visuals like I wanted. I wanted to actually have towers of a certain size or buttons of a certain size, but I don't have that. If you stick around for part 2, I will have that. So at this point, I'm going to stop here, and then I'm going to make another video for the second part. So anyway, if you like this video, please subscribe because it really helps me. And I did say a while back that I was going to do a giveaway when I reached 1,000 subscribers. So as I get closer to the 1,000 subscribers, that's when I'm going to announce it, what it's going to be. And please subscribe, because once it gets to that 1,000 subscribers, I am going to have a giveaway, but it has to reach the 1,000 subscribers. So if you like this video, please subscribe. Please hit the alert so that you get all the videos. And if you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, give it 2 thumbs down. Thanks for watching. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to part 2. Let's solve this, and let's actually show this on this. Let's show the actual disk. Let's show maybe some buttons of different colors and stuff like that. So let's see how we can solve that problem. And the other thing about this is that when we're out of moves, we shouldn't make any moves. We shouldn't allow next to solve anything anymore at that point. It should just kind of ignore handle next move if we don't have any more moves. So we're going to say if moves dot length greater than 0, we can make moves. If not, it's not going to do anything. So now that we have that, let's see, let's check it out. Let's refresh it. Let's solve it. We click next, and next, and then it ignores it's solved. Right. So, and then so that's our handle next move. But one thing that I want to do is show the buttons of different sizes. So how can I show, even if it's divs of different sizes? So when we have this, what we're gonna do, what can we do? We can make the column bigger depending on the size of X. Can we do something like this? Column small and have the $sign here. And we'll have X times 10. Like that. And we'll add another class where we say, let's say that we have Let's give it a color. Or does it already have do the Bootstrap have background color? Bootstrap background color. Let's see. That's oh, there it is. BG. Well, let's do for now BG. Let's just do BG danger. BG danger like that. Okay, let's give that a try. Ooh. I didn't like that. Oh, because I didn't close off my code. Okay. Ah, hey, it's not great. Times 10, maybe what if we do, oh, because the columns can only be so big. How about if we do times 2? Yeah, that's kind of, okay. Solve it? No, let's refresh it. Okay, we can, it's kind of, not quite, but we can work with that. So we solve it, and we go next, 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 like that. And then what we're gonna do is we're going to map some colors so we can have different colors. So we're gonna have cons color class equal actually, let's do it like this. Let's do color class equal, so we'll make it an array. And we're gonna have BG danger and BG danger. And then we're gonna have, what else do we have for the colors? What do we have? BG success, BG success, and what's another color? BG warning, BG warning, and BG info, and what else? We got success, primary. We don't have BG primary, so let's make this one BG primary. Now, what we can do in order to select our classes, when we actually do this, we can say cons color, we'll call this color classes, and we'll call this color class, and we'll say equal to color classes, and we'll say that we'll say X mod 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, mod 5, right? Because 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and whatever that happens to be, that'll be the color class here. So we got color classes. Okay, save it. Let's go back and look at it. Ah, look at that. Now we got some nice colors. So we solve it. Let's refresh it because this thing has to be refreshed. Okay, let's go. We solve it, and now we say next, next, and then it's going to be C to B. So there. And then A to C. Now, one of the things about it is that we probably have to create towers to make up for what they don't, because see, in the new disk map, we add rows, we add new disks, and we create a map. But what we want to create is what we want to create is we want to create still rows to make up for that. And that's what I'm having a hard time figuring out, because if we don't have the disk to do it, I'd have to join them somehow. What I could do is, for every, let's say that we had the size of the stack, that I just push something ridiculous like a -1. And even though it prints out -1, then I don't print anything out. So let's say that, for example, that I said max, that I say tower height or something like that. That I say tower height. And what I do is while this dot length less than tower height, that I push, let's say a -1, for example. Now here, I'm going to say X equal -1, X not equal -1, I'm going to print X, right? Otherwise, I'm going to, otherwise, I'm going to do nothing. So if it's X, it's going to be X or nothing, right? X not equal -1, it does that. But then for the color index, it's going to be if X not equal -1, it's going to be that. Otherwise, the color class is going to be empty. Let's try that. So now when we solve it, it's still not doing it like I expected. Maybe if I did it in white. But still, I don't like the way it's doing it. It's like it's not doing. Why? Oh, because it's X. So again, it's putting a negative. So I need to have another one for cons. Column size equal X not equal -1. size is X times 2. Otherwise, we'll just say 2. And we'll put, instead of putting column size here, we'll put column size. I didn't like column size. Why didn't I like column size there? Oh, typo. Okay. Still doesn't like it. What if I put a white? What if I put a dot? Let me see if it actually puts, maybe it doesn't like it because it's blank. So refresh it. Solve it. Next. It doesn't like it. It's like it's not working. I'll put a ridiculous number like 55. No, it's not outputting what I'm. Oh, well, that'll do it. I'm doing all this code in tower height. I didn't push anything to tower height. So let me push something to tower height, because when we get to this task, we need to push the tower height. In this case, we're going to push 3. We're going to come back. That's going to be more dynamic later, but it's going to be 3. And I think I got it wrong on this one. Okay. Or maybe we can even get away with making it 4. Okay, now let's try it. Ooh, something really went wrong. Get this tag. Tower height. Pass in the tower height. It didn't like that at all. I passed it to towers and I passed it to height. What happened? Oh yeah, this is wrong. New this. It's gonna be new this. That link. Otherwise, you're in an endless loop. Let's refresh it. It's still broken. It's still broken. Let's see what happens. Let's try it again. Okay, let's solve it. Ah, it put them underneath. That's not where I want them. I want them above. Okay. So I need to do unshift, I think. Okay, there we go. Okay, now we solve it. Next. Ah, but the moves, that's what's bad. The moves is what's making it go up. Okay, so we got a little bit closer there, but like I said, I'll post the code, and if you want to play around with it and and do the towers, make it better visually, and maybe make these align a little bit better, so that they actually look like the towers. So right now we're printing 55, but we probably just don't want to print 55. We'll go back to an empty string. And let's refresh it. Solve it. It went back to, since it doesn't have anything there, it doesn't like it. Maybe let's put a color class. Let's put if the color class, let me see if it's actually printing anything. Let's put warning there. Solve it. Interesting. But when I have a value, it does it. But if I don't have a value, it's like it doesn't, it just ignores it altogether. What if I had an empty string? It's funny that when I solve it, it doesn't. I need to reset that too. That's interesting that when I don't have a value, it will not recognize it. I got to put like a dot or something. Well, we need to make our color class nothing then. We need to solve this problem though, because otherwise it's going to be off track. So when we click solve, we need to reset our state. That way it goes back to solve, and then we can go to next, and so on. But I don't like how it the moves that it's going up, because the moves are disappearing. I don't like that. So that's the other thing about the moves is we have the moves, but maybe we don't need to display the moves. Here where we're displaying the moves, here, maybe we get rid of this. It's a good visual though. I kind of like the visual. I just don't like that it's up there. But maybe what we can do instead is make the moves go down here. So as they disappear, they don't affect the stacks. Okay, so solve it. The moves are down there, so now when we go next, and so on. So we solve it. Okay. and that takes care of that. So it took an additional 26 minutes. Now, we could probably do something about this as well, because we could probably center this where we could actually put, when we make this, column, we'll say, we can make a column size. I think there's a column size offset on Bootstrap. So we say Bootstrap call offset. And we can actually look at the, it takes us right back to the grid. Let's see. Look at offset. Offsetting columns. See how they get offset? We can actually say an offset. So we were, since we're multiplying them times 2, we can make our offset be whatever. So now if we say const column offset equals, and then we're gonna say let's say that our columns are 12. We're gonna say minus minus x times 2, right? 12 minus x times 2 divided by 2. And that'll be our column offset. So now you say offset. Oh, that's funny because, okay, you know what? I put class and it should be class name and it still accepts it. Yeah, maybe it's a Next.js thing because it's not supposed to accept that in React. But anyway, so we say offset. It's an offset dash small dash dollar. We'll say column offset like that. And let's see what it does. Ah, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. So now we solve it and we say next. There we go. Of course, we can make this better where we can actually enter the number of moves. When we solve it, we can see the moves. We can always modify it and do that, but I think I'm pretty happy with it the way it is now. We could even get rid of the numbers on them, displaying the numbers. Oh, actually, it's kind of interesting though, because if I remove the numbers, if I don't display anything, then it doesn't show that the value. Let's see, how can you do that? React show div with blank space. Let me see. Somebody's asking that. And then somebody's going to answer that. Sometimes the answers are in here. You could use span and ESP. Oh, wow. So if I was to show here, and how they said NMBSP. That should still work. Ah, there we go. So we solve it. We click next. And now we got the towers. It's interesting because what I could do for what is that one for the colors? Colors, Bootstrap. BG color. We can make it BG secondary. BG secondary, and column size. The only thing about so let's see. It's way off. So we got this is too repetitive. I have to fix it so that I don't have to do this so much. So if it's not equal to -1, it's that. But if it's that, then it's gonna be, 5 and 5. It's gonna be 5, the offset. Okay, that's a little too wide. It's 2. It should probably be 1. Column size. That's so very small. So maybe just maybe our towers need to be bigger. Maybe our towers, instead of being this size, they are 4, 3, and 2. Yeah, okay. Solve. Wait a minute. That's still too, that's still not big enough. So I need to go maybe 6, 5, and 4. Let's refresh it. Let's solve it. What the heck? Oh, 6, 5. That's why. I think the other way was fine when I had it like, let's say I had it 5, 4, and 3. 5, 4, and 3. And this, let's say it's 5, 4, and 3. And that's fine. It's just that. There we go. Solve it. Next, 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 next. Like that. And that solved it. It'd be cool if we had a back button. But that means that we wouldn't have that going backwards piece. We'd have to not get rid of what we have in the stack and just have an index that moves around, which we could have an index and move around and then just make it back to the order to see what moved. Because if you solve it and you miss the move, you're like, oh, what moved? Well, here we know that, well, we don't know because this could have moved back. It could have moved back. What if we try with 4? 5, 4, 3, 2. Let's say that we went 6, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. And when we go to solve the Towers of Hanoi, we do it with 4. One thing we're not doing, let's set this tower height to like 7. Okay, so there we are. So now we solve it. We have all these moves and we can watch it. Be nice if we had animations. Be nice if you had animations to do it. This is as good as I'm gonna be able to get it though. I don't think I'm gonna get to the whole animations thing because yeah, that would be something. That would be, I wonder if you could do that with like CSS, have some neat animations that solve that. Well, that's it. That's it, folks. That's all I can do. If you want to do more, if you want to change it yourself, feel free to touch the code. Don't be scared of it. It's just code. Nobody's going to get hurt. So anyway, that's all. That's it. Thanks for watching. And like I said, if you like this video, please subscribe. If you like, give it a thumbs up. It really helps me. And like I said, there's going to be a giveaway at some point. Um, once I decide what I'm going to give away. And the only way to know is if you subscribe, because then that's when I'm going to get the instructions of how to sign up for the giveaway. But the giveaway is going to happen when we hit the 1,000 subscribers. Okay, so just keep your eyes peeled. And if you're listening and watching, you might be the lucky winner.